everyone, today I'm going to do a get ready with me. It's going to be kind of a throwback featuring the NYX Happy Birthday palette. I did this fairly simple bronze look as a birthday gift last year from Ulta if you guys have never seen it. If you guys want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. So I don't know what I'm doing yet, but we're going to go from there. I thought I'd chit chat a little bit with you guys. I'm actually on vacation right now. I'm not anywhere, I'm home. I had to use my vacation hours at work, but being on a vacation is hard for me when I'm not doing anything because I'm such a doer, and like I constantly feel like I need to be working or doing something to feel like accomplished, if that makes sense. If you don't know, I have depression, anxiety. So yeah, it's been really rough for me to be on vacation from work, even though work makes me hurt because I have a very physical job and I have a bad hip. So I'm trying not to make this sad, but this is just some things that have been on my mind. So I figured I'd talk about them while I get ready today. So I'm just going to start my routine. My routine is pretty much the same every time I get ready. My face stuff doesn't really change, but I'll show you guys anyway. I feel like I've never done one of these like really chit-chatty styles. So I'm just putting my moisturizer on from e.l.f. But like the first few days I was off of work, I felt like on top of the world. But now I'm getting like paranoid. I don't know if anyone feels this way. None of my people that work with me watch my videos that I know of, but like I got these new managers, and the one that's been with me the longest just got promoted, and I don't know, the one that was with me before, I really feel like was trying to like push me out and was afraid of me. And I don't know, I have no one to talk to about this, so I figured let's put it on the internet. So I feel like she may be trying to push me out, and that can just be my paranoia. I am a very paranoid person. It's from my anxiety, and I'm not trying to talk about this because everyone on YouTube is talking about it now. I am diagnosed with clinical depression, and what's the anxiety one? I have a sheet of paper somewhere. I do go to a psychologist and a psychiatrist, and I'm not just like pulling it out of my ass. So I am diagnosed. It's nothing to be, like, nothing I am ashamed of. I talk about it all the time, but no one ever believes me because of how I act when I'm around people. When I'm around people that I know, I'm very open, I'm very bubbly, I'm very happy, and it's not even a show, it's just how my personality is. But when I'm alone, or when I'm in a crowd of people I don't know, or I'm at a grocery store or something by myself, or a store by myself, I'm very paranoid, so my mood changes, if that makes sense. I'm just doing some eye primer. I think I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, so you guys can let me know if you suffer from anxiety or depression. I've always wanted to talk about it on my channel. I had one video that was very emotional 2 years ago during the election, and I don't talk about politics on here much because I don't like pushing my opinions on people, but I try not to open up a lot because I am afraid. I'm afraid of being taken advantage of. I'm afraid of people using knowledge about me against me, but there's nothing really that I hide. Like, I'm not a perfect person or anything. I have depression, I have anxiety, I have a bad hip because I was in a car accident 5 years ago, and like I don't hide it from anyone, but I don't want it to be looked down. I don't want to be looked down upon it because I have problems. You know, I'm human, we all have our problems, and I don't want people to take pity upon me, if that makes sense. I'm going to use this NYX Dark Circle Corrector because I don't like the way my under eyes look right now. I didn't put on any makeup yesterday. I've been exercising, which has helped. Like while I'm exercising, I feel really good, and then I start thinking afterwards. And now I'm waiting for a text to see when I work next, but my assistant store manager was supposed to send me a text, and he never sent me one. So like I feel paranoid that the other assistant store manager is like out to get me and trying to make sure I don't get promoted, which really sucks. Because I was supposed to be promoted already, but then my district manager found out I might be moving and all this nonsense. Like I said, no one watches my videos. Hopefully not, because this will be all out there on the internet for everyone to see. But yeah, I've been with Kohl's 8 years, 9 years. It'll be 9 years on the 28th, I believe. So I am a area supervisor. I was promoted last October, and I was next in line to be promoted, which is like a hush-hush thing, but whatever. But then they found out I might be moving to another state for my boyfriend's job, which I told somebody in confidence, but that's cool. They're supposed to know, but I don't even know if I'm moving until the middle of next month. So I'm like, and they found out months and months ago. So now I should have been promoted, and I wasn't promoted, and I didn't do the long thing. You're supposed to go to this conference and everything. When I was supposed to go to the conference, I was at the psychiatrist because my mental health has been really bad this year, and I finally got on medication after having depression for 14 years. Yes, I've had depression. I've known I've had depression since I was 14. So let's see, what color am I going to go in? I always go in this with the crease. I think I'm going to go with this. I don't want anything too crazy today. I'm just going to Target. Tomorrow I'm going to do a look that's crazy probably with my BH palette because I've been wanting to do it. But I don't have plans tomorrow either. That's another thing. When I'm alone and I got no to-do list because I already did everything like the first day I was off, my depression gets worse. So I know you guys can't see. It keeps focusing in and out. But anyway, like I was saying, so I haven't been promoted. But it's probably because I'm paranoid. I just feel like everyone's out to get me. And a few things my old manager said, not my old store manager, but my old manager who was my manager for like 2 months and then got transferred. It's just, she was saying things to other associates about me, and like, I'm not okay with that. I don't know what her beef was with me. I'm very knowledgeable, not to toot my own horn. I know a lot, and I had a manager who didn't know anything, and I just felt like shit that she never helped me with anything, and she was in a position above me. And she also used that against me, and it was just not a good time. It was only a few months, so I was okay before then, but my depression was really bad at that time because, you know, you don't want people to be talking shit about you, especially when you're, I'm going to be honest, I'm the nicest person in my store, by far, manager-wise, and people use that against me, which really sucks, but it's okay. I don't ever talk about this because I'm a private person. I don't like creating drama. I don't like doing all that. I'm going to go in with, I don't want to make this an orangey look, so I'm going to go in lightly, probably with this deeper brown, because I want this to be a bronzy look. I don't really do bronze looks. This deep brown isn't very pigmented if you tap it off. But, yeah. So my depression has been bad. I've been trying to exercise every day just to keep myself going. I've been sleeping like 14 hours a day. And I don't like talking about this with anyone because they all, like, my boyfriend knows, but like I don't really talk about this because I don't want to feel pity. I mean, I don't want people to feel pity for me. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm looking down because I have to look in the mirror, or else this is gonna look like a hot mess. And I do want to go to the store. Like, going to the store is a big deal for me, especially by myself, which I usually go by myself because my boyfriend works all day, and I work varying times depending on my schedule. So, like, I feel a lot of anxiety going to the store. So, I don't have, like, debilitating anxiety and depression. I still live a regular life. I still go to work. I still get up every day. Like, when I'm working, I get up on time. Like, I don't sleep. I sleep like 7 hours. But right now, since I'm on vacation, I've been sleeping a lot and my body's healing and so much exercise. And I feel like I need to exercise because last time I was on vacation I didn't exercise. I went back to work and I was in so much pain after the first day because my job's so physical. But it's hard for me to exercise when I work because of my hip. I'm in a lot of pain. But recently it's been muscle soreness from exercising versus when I work it's just soreness, like my hip's out of place or something. And I can't afford to go to the doctor all the time. I go to the physical therapist. I try to go monthly, but with my job it's hard and with their hours. And then and I also go to the psychiatrist every month. You know, it's not cheap and I don't make that much money. I'm not going to talk about my pay on here because you're not supposed to ever talk about your pay, but I don't make a lot of money. I'm not talking about YouTube. I make nothing on YouTube, but I'm talking about my actual job. YouTube is not my job. I have a lot of videos to do. Not to do. I have like 5 videos to edit, but I've been really bad at editing because every time I sit in the bed and I try to edit, because I want to sit with my boyfriend, sorry, I'm using this shimmery color. I try to edit and I start falling asleep, so I just decide I want to fall asleep because I don't want to be awake anymore. And normally it's after about 12 hours of being asleep. 12 hours of being awake. And it's probably because of my medication because it's only been recently I've been that tired. But my medication helps a lot with my anxiety. So I don't want to get off of it because I don't want to feel the way I felt before, but I'm still not great, if that makes sense. I'm afraid of what I would feel like without it. Let's see. I think I want to go in with this bronzy color because I don't ever use it. We're going to go in that and see how this looks. I'm going to wet that and put it all over my lid because it's not super pigmented. I might use something else too. So I'm just taking a flat shader brush. I have water here in the sprayer because I was using setting spray, but I realized water is the same. Oh, I forgot I wanted to put a new primer on my lid. I'm going to use my NYX concealer just to cut my crease a little bit so I can get more of a sticky base. But you guys let me know what you think. Should I be this paranoid? I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be this paranoid about my job. I don't want to explain everything that's happened, but I just am paranoid. Like, I'm forgotten about a lot because I'm vegan, and it's just, I just feel like I'm not normal, and because of that, it's looked down upon, if that makes sense. And I am perfectly okay normally without being like the same as everyone else, but at work I try to be the same as everyone else. But I really have no desire to have any hobbies or anything. I don't really watch TV. And that's from my depression. So there's nothing interesting for me to talk about with people, and that's what makes me feel like an outcast, if that makes sense. I can only talk about how I feel, and I don't want to bring others down, so I don't talk about how I feel. I'm sure there's someone out there that's like, I feel like the exact same way, and then there's probably people on there like, what in the world are you talking about, lady? Anyway, and I've felt this way most of my life. Like I said, 14 years. Since I was 14, I'm 28. So, my whole teenage and adult life. So I'm doing like a really basic look today, but I figured I'd bring out this palette because I don't use it a lot. I'm going to go back in with dark brown. I don't want, like I said, I don't want it to be too much because I'm just going to Target and I'd like to exercise later, so I'll probably wash most of it off. These shades are so powdery though. I literally get stuff all over the place when I do this. If you guys don't know, I've been keeping track of everything I use, but I'm going to do it more so next year. I'm actually going to keep track of every shade I use in the palette. I'm a very systematic person, and I like numbers, and I like, not really numbers, I like keeping track of things. I like lists, if that makes sense. It makes me feel put together. So having lists and doing things systematically makes me feel put together and makes me happier, even if it doesn't make any sense to most people. And if you want to know my background with mental health, my brother has depression, my dad has depression, and they're both bipolar. My mom has anxiety and OCD, so it it didn't come from nowhere, okay? And the only one really getting help was me. My mom is trying to, but she's very it's hard to talk to her about things because her brain is so scattered all the time, and I went with her to a psychologist, so I could figure out a little bit more about her mental health, because I want to understand my mother, obviously. I love her very much, but sometimes she just drives me insane and I can't really talk to her. So it's hard. I've never had anyone to really talk to emotionally. So that's also an issue. Like every single time I had have a conversation with her, not recently, but prior, it's like, oh, you want to end your life? I'm like, no, I'm just unhappy. I don't understand why she didn't understand me, but now I understand. With OCD, you're trying to perfect, I guess with not all OCD, but with certain people's OCD, you're trying to perfect the outside because you have a lot going on the inside and you can't function. Like, you can't deal with the inside, so you try to perfect the outside, if that makes sense. And I never heard of it described that way, so I thought it was really interesting. And I'd like to sit in on her sessions if she lets me, because I love psychology. I just wasn't really smart enough to pass the classes. The one psychology class I worked really hard and I got a C, and every other class I get A's in. So it was really hard because I'm really bad with words. But I'm knowledgeable, like I can learn this stuff, especially if it's taught to me a certain way. And I have good ways of like reading people, and like if I sit down and have a conversation, I am good at giving advice, in my opinion at least. So I think that's where we're going to go for now. So I'm going to do my eyebrows and my eyeliner off camera. So my eyebrows and my eyeliner is done. So we're going to go into the face. If you guys want to start a discussion down below, if you guys want any advice on depression, anxiety, I can give you the best advice I can possibly give you. I don't really know all the answers, obviously, because I'm still suffering every day. So there's not much advice. I mean, I can tell you how I've dealt with things. I will tell you, I don't really think the feelings ever go away. I don't think any medication is going to make them go away, sadly. I always thought it might. But I was always afraid of medication because there's a lot of drug addiction in my family, so it's pretty obvious why I was afraid. I don't have a super... I'm not going to actually... I do have a kind of addictive personality. I used to have a bad shopping addiction, and I had a bad makeup addiction, and I'm working towards not spending all my money. I'm using the e.l.f. Poreless Primer, by the way. So I was really afraid of medication, but I've tried therapy. It's all about finding the right therapist, but when you don't have enough money to do both, you don't want to be wasting money and going to different therapists. You know what I mean? I've only talked to anyone in person. I've never done like online therapy or anything. I feel like that's a little, I don't know, I don't like it. I like people seeing how I'm actually feeling, and through texting or something, you don't see how somebody feels, or messages online. It's not the same thing. I have the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, but it's full coverage, and I'm not going anywhere really, so I'm going to use my other foundations. I have been mixing the Wet n Wild Photo Focus and Nude Ivory, which is a pinker base, with the light ivory from e.l.f. This is more yellow base. I don't know who names these, but I feel like ivory's definitely more yellow. Why is this pink? But my undertone's in between. I use the shade Alabaster in the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, and that's like the perfect in-between shade. You guys, look at this. So, but I'm not going to be wearing this makeup forever, so if I was wearing it all day, I'd wear that, or if I was going to work. but I just mix them, and I mix them right on my face. I'm not really too concerned about it being great. I've worn this by itself too. It's not really a big deal. And I've worn the e.l.f. one by itself too. You can't really tell. I don't do any photos or anything, so it doesn't really matter. I think I put a little too much on today, but it's okay. I can look full coverage for Target. These are all both light coverage, so it doesn't matter. Ooh, God. That's a lot of foundation. But like I was saying, if you guys want to talk about it down below, feel free to. And I would give the best advice I could possibly give, but if you guys have advice for me, when I have really bad depression, I don't really do anything. I just distract myself. So I'll watch a lot of YouTube. I'll just distract myself. I have trouble reading books because my attention span, because of my anxiety, is so short. So the only time I read any books, I had last year when we had the hurricane, my power was out for 5 days, and I read books. And I didn't even read real books. Well, I don't know if people consider these real books. I had mangas that I've already read before, and I read them again instead of reading my books because I like looking at pictures. I don't know, to be honest. But I have really short attention span now, which really sucks. Because I used to have I've always wanted to go back to school and get my master's. I have my bachelor's, if you don't know, in fine arts. I'm a painter, or was a painter. I haven't done it because of my depression and not having the space to do it. I haven't painted in probably since I moved in here 3 years ago. So I can't wait to move and have a better place to live and a better environment. Maybe like a new scenery will help me a little bit. I don't know. I've lived where I am in the vicinity. I've lived for like since I was 13. So I don't live that far from where my parents live. So I just feel like I need to like branch out and figure out who I am. I need to figure out how to get the stopper out of this because I go through these like there's no tomorrow. Because this is only 0.4 ounces and this is, wait no, this is 0.14 ounces and this is 0.29. Really? This is half the size of this. Which makes me angry because this is my favorite concealer. So I'm like scraping. Like I have to look up a video on how to get the stopper out. Because I really like this concealer. Oh, that got a good amount out. I'm like rubbing the back end trying to get it out. It's definitely almost empty, but I want to get the bigger size. The last time I went to Ulta, they didn't have it yet. So I'm hoping it comes out soon. I mean, it's supposed to be October 1st, and I went like the 4th or something. And that's why I went to buy it. They didn't have it in stock, so. Any colors, like, it wasn't out on the shelf yet, so. And this Wet n Wild one's okay, but they don't have a color I really like. This color's too pink. I really like the Makeup Revolution one. And I feel like it blends better than the Wet n Wild. I'm using this is almost out, so I'm excited because I'm going to use the container for my other powder. And I have more of this powder anyway. I have so much powder. I don't ever need to buy powder ever again, probably. I haven't done for like 3 years. I don't know what possessed me to buy so much powder. No idea. No idea. So that's a no buy product. I talked about my low buy. I don't remember if I posted it. I'm pretty sure I did. Which I'm going on a low buy next year. I'm doing actually really good this year. Since I said that. But I did buy 2 highlighters and I said I can't buy any more highlighters. So that's the only thing I did bad on. But I've only bought 1 lipstick and 1 palette. Dark brown. Yeah, we'll go with the dark brown, and I might put a little green in there because I like green. see what I'm doing. Why does my rabbit sound like it's chippering? I should check on him. I don't want it to be too dark. Do my mascara. I have to look at my mirror for this. I'm sorry, you guys. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit. It's the same mascara as my Essence one. And the next one I have is an Essence one to open. I don't think I'm ever going to not use the Essence ones. Not anytime soon, at least. Unless somehow some magical mascara drops out of the sky, but that's what I said about highlighter, and then I bought a highlighter and I didn't really like it. But I still have it. I want to try to make it work. I make the weirdest mascara faces. You guys can't see them, but I make the weirdest mascara faces ever. Okay. That still looks so far, like I said, pretty basic, at least for me. Like, this is a good work look if you, I should get close. If you're just going to work. It's not like too much. I mean, most people wouldn't put on this much eyeshadow, but I'm not most people. So, okay. So we're gonna go in with bronzer. I'm trying to use up my Physicians Formula because it's hitting a year soon and I want to open my new one. So we're gonna go with that. And I'm gonna put a heavy bronzer on because I am tanner and I can. By the way, this is a light bronzer if you guys were ever wondering, if I never said it. I don't like putting it on my forehead. I did it like, I think in one of the videos, but every time I do it, when I go outside, it looks patchy. That's better. Now I'm going to go in with Chromo. It's like warm toned, pinky peach, not too peachy. I have peachy blushes, but I don't think they go with this eye look. Ugh, my brush is still a little wet. I clean my brushes once a week. I don't know if you guys clean them more. But it uses a lot of soap. Like I use Dr. Bronner soap, like the big bottle. I use a shit ton of soap to clean my brushes. I don't know why. I think that's as good as it's gonna get for now. I am sweating because I have to turn off my air to film. I have a lot of warm tone highlighter, so I always go into my Kat Von D Metal Crush, which is crazy looking right now because it's how much pan I have. I'm gonna use this yellow shade in the middle called Helix. This is almost a year old, so I should be using it up. I'm gonna go with Helix. And this palette's like super shimmery and glittery, but that's totally my jam. That's my thing. I love it. Like, I love looking like a freaking unicorn. So, I'm perfectly okay with that. But the yellow one's very subtle in comparison to the pink and like the orange. Super subtle, at least to me. Like, it doesn't look like overly yellow. It's very like a vanilla shade. Like, it's like a white with a hint of yellow. But I guess in certain lighting it will look more yellow. So I'm going to do a lip. I think I'm going to go in with lip gloss because I'm not doing much today. This is the lip gloss in Aquarius. This is my only lip gloss. And it's from Wet n Wild. had other shades, but they bothered my lips. So it's like a peachy nude, but super subtle. Then I'm going to set my face with my rose flower spray from Pacifica. And this has lasted me much longer now that I don't use it to spray my brush for my eyeshadow. I just filled my old bottle with water. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like the little chit chatty style, let me know. Give this a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys later.